Subscribe if you're done being a loser. Let's go.
The whole continent.
That's a true story.
Yeah.
That's a true story, right? You know, we have a business in Nigeria. I spend a lot of time there. And I notice how a lot of the Nigerians who are what you and I are here don't live there.
True.
They don't. You'll find them in London. You'll find them in Dubai. You know, that's where you'll find them. You'll find them in the US. And I think the reason for that is similar to SA. There's no template yet for this guy who can be African and asazi sintu sakhe.
Sure.
But at the same time, harbor a set of views and engage critically in thought and come out with an outcome that we would not have naturally come out at. That's why they will say you're a sellout. It has to be the only way to explain it. So yeah, I mean, that's how I think of it, you know?
2012, my brother was graduating at Rhodes University, and two of the biggest takeouts for me there, besides my mom was on a plane for the first time, which made me very happy. He introduced me to an amazing group called The Soil.
The performers?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
You know,
amazing.
But besides that, he introduced me to this random American guy who was speaking to a bunch of writing students in the classroom, telling them, if you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. And that sparked a fascination in motivational speaking for me.
That's E.T.?
That's Eric Thomas.
Yeah.
Then I found the Les Browns. Not nearly.
I was hungry.
Jeez.
You got to be hungry.
My brother's actually got a picture with Les Brown.
I get goosebumps every time I think of Les, man.
Not a motivational speaker. Miles Monroe, I think, is absolutely fascinating.
Don't even get me started, man. Thinker, Miles. A thinker. Philosopher.
I've got so much to say, but I actually want you to... I'll hold back on my thoughts. I just wanted to link the fact that you're a global speaker to some of those guys, you know. What am I trying to ask?
And by the way, before you say what you want to say, let me say something. There's somebody who will watch this and say, is Vusi saying you can't be a global speaker and speak as if you're Tembis? No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that wasn't my path.
Yeah.
It's so important to make that point. All of us,
I remember my point,
have a pathway to where we want to get to, and you don't get to make somebody else's pathway less credible because it wasn't the one you've taken.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
You have to remember, I'm 38 years old. I've been a professional speaker since I was 19.
It's crazy.
I've been on stage since I was 15. I've been holding the microphone and looking into audiences for longer than most people watching this have probably been alive.
Sure.
What I have forgotten, many people haven't learned yet. I've worked in 6 of the 7 continents. At last count, 59 countries. I've had the privilege of standing and addressing audiences who don't even speak the English language. And as I address them, there is a translator, and at the end of my keynote, there's tears in the room. That's my measure of success. It's whether or not I am technically proficient at what I do. No doubt in my mind, somebody will come into the craft and industry who will approach it differently. And I hope to be the guy who will open the door for them and go, yo, genala, ishaya kanje.
Sure.
Right? But I think all of us have a role to play in this continuum of change. And you push the wave for your generation, the way you know how. Because when I got into this game, there were guys who pushed the wave for my generation.
True.
The way they knew how. Right? A lot of those guys today, I am technically superior than. But ngiyahlonipha.
Sure.
Ngiyahlonipha ukuthi ngathi ngifika kwabayibone bangivulela umnyango but ongena mfana. You know. A lot of those guys, when I look at their material, I'm like, wow, this is we have a lot of work to do. Kodwa nginenhlonipho.
Yes.
So that's the point I wanted to make. It's like people need to get out of this idea that it's binary. It's either this or that. It's not. It's a continuum. The one has to flow for the other to happen, right? Because that's just how the mindset of the world works. It's gradual, but eventually the change takes place.
I think what I wanted to link earlier from Eric Thomas, Les Brown, and the rest was when you look at the local speakers.
Yes.
Speaking is very vast.
Yes.
The 2 guys that stood out even to this day is yourself and Trevor Noah. And when you were speaking about English, I wanted to link, I don't know if the term is entomology or what. Both of you guys are very big on that. And I've realized, at least for me, English is just but one language, which is actually a mix masala of many languages in the past. I find that people that tend to be hyper intelligent, in my opinion, besides being well-traveled, are people that have the ability to take a language or words and break them down and find the history. Trevor goes into other languages as well, but I've seen that you're big on that.
Yes, it's very important.
You're big on taking this word, what is its origin? Is it Latin? Is it Greek? What did it intend? And why is it here now? And by the time you've done that exercise, you've learned so many other things about life, which add depth to your talks that people sadly, I feel they probably don't appreciate.
So, you're going to get me hot under the collar. The average person watching this understands about my industry as they probably do about the depth of the Milky Way. And if you're watching this going, what is he talking about? That's my point.
Sure.
Right.
I wanted to jump in narrative story and your conversation with Sadhguru because it goes that deep.
Exactly. And so let's arc back. Let me just flex a little bit.
Cool.
So as an orator, by the way, it feeds on to what happened over the past week or so, but as an orator, I'm taught to study technique, devoid of the talent. So my training is I want to analyze the technique Kapenwe. Not Upenwe.
Yes.
Right. So I've spent hundreds of hours studying Adolf. Hundreds.
Adolf.
Hitler. Hundreds of hours.
I'm fascinated that you say that because I've studied the biggest leaders, a lot of them being evil because there's something special about them.
But you see, people misunderstand being evil. People honestly misunderstand it.
Sure.
And here's the way I explain it to people. Why do Christians go to church? Because they're not in denial about the capabilities of the devil. If they were, they wouldn't go to church.
Sure.
They wouldn't pray.
Sure.
He's most incapable. He's the devil. You can't be evil and be incapable.
Yeah.
Because then your evil is of no consequence.
Sure.
So when I study Adolf, Mussolini, and I've hundreds of hours I spent watching their stuff, and an order of magnitude more hours watching, as I call him, the singer, not the public speaker, Martin Luther King. The greatest orator, in my humble opinion, of all time, Frederick Douglass, somewhere in the middle. And anybody who's never read any of Frederick Douglass's speeches, like you haven't lived. This guy had the ability to arc language into story and fabric story into experience with 3 words back to back. And he would just hit you, man. I always say, as I love hip hop, I could never do it.
Yeah.
But maybe that's the admiration.
Hip hop was our school, man.
So for me, I think of Frederick Douglass as Do Me and the Volume. That's how I
Stogie
remember.
T.
That'll tell you my generation.
Sure.
Stogie,
We're
the young
old.
people called him now, right? But the guy's ability to manipulate words is unbelievable. So when you see a speaker, right, and you hear a few words and you say, just speak English, just suit, scam. You're not reflecting me, you're reflecting you.
Yes.
Because you've not taken the time to understand what I do. So for instance, back to the technique. So Hitler is probably the archetype of what we call stochastic speakers, right? He speaks like it's a drum beat.
Sure.
This was Hitler. He had a rhythm. There's another guy at the moment in politics in South Africa.
Of course.
Very popular.
Everyone knows him.
But this is how he speaks. He's got a rhythm. And just as he builds up, when he wants something to happen, that rhythm gets harder and harder. He's a rhythm speaker.
Yeah.
If you pull the rhythm from him, the words don't carry. And that's why people get riled up, was because he's got them in that rhythm, in that emotion. That was Hitler's way of doing it. Martin Luther King didn't speak, he sang. I have a dream. Dan da da dee. Da dan day. That one day He didn't end words. The word went into the other. In rap, Eminem's like that.
Sure.
He doesn't end words. The one word end goes into the other. You know who else is like that? Lil Wayne. If you listen to any of Lil Wayne's stuff, the words don't end. He's constantly singing, right? So as an orator, I study across all of those communication sciences, because whether you're a newspaper journalist or a hip hop artist or a politician or a CEO in a results presentation or a public speaker, you're all trying to do the same thing.
Sure.
You're trying to get a message across. And I'm trying to figure out what's the best and most effective way to get that message across.
That's crazy, because at least for someone who's hearing this for the first time, to understand that not only have you practiced your craft, but the studying of almost everyone and their nuances. For me, as someone with a curious mind and who loves knowledge, education, history, do you think you're the smartest person on the continent?
No, not by any stretch of the imagination. And I say that.
And how do you measure intelligence?
That's a good question. So no, I don't think so, but only because because of what I do, I've had the incredible privilege of meeting some super sharp people, man. Man, there's some sharp folks out there.
Because there's a lot of people who say things, and look, we don't know how serious they are that if you were to run for president, they'd vote for you.
Yeah.
And people laugh that off,
Yes.
like they've laughed off Tutuzane Zuma, but
Yes.
to what you're saying, if you're not paying attention
Yes.
to why are those people saying that, and if
Yes.
this guy actually decided to flex, you might see a move. People laughed at Julius, people laughed at Donald Trump.
True story.
So
It always seems crazy, and then it seemed logical.
yeah,
That's the story of history, right? The story of history is first people say it's crazy, then they go, but of course.
everyone knew it was going to happen. You're
As
like,
a historian, go back into the archives.
sure.
Ask Ogogo Nomkhulu ekhaya what the average black South African was saying about Nelson Mandela when they were fighting for the struggle. It's not like they were saying, y'all go for it.
Sure.
A lot of them were going, "Anyekele namabhunu, bazombulala."
Sure.
It seemed crazy. Today it seems logical. Almost everything seems crazy until it seems logical.
Yeah.
So no, I don't think I'm the smartest person on the continent. I think
Is that
there are-
humility?
No, I think that's a statement of fact.
Okay.
Don't misunderstand me. I think I'm in the top 1% of the smartest people in the continent.
It's a lot of people.
No, I mean on that, and by the way, you asked the question,
Please.
what's my definition of intelligence? And here's my definition of intelligence. My definition of intelligence is how elastic your mind is. Intelligence is not a number. It's a
Okay.
function of elasticity.
But how do you measure that?
And that's where I'm going.
Okay.
You determine Panuel's intelligence by his ability to interrogate new data using new frameworks and to arrive at new outcomes without getting stuck in the past. That's intelligence. That's how we as human beings have adapted. When they say human beings are the most adept and that we're the most intelligent species, those two things are intertwined, you see.
Sure.
We have adapted because of our intelligence. So you can't frame intelligence unless you frame adaptation.
Okay.
So it is in your ability to adapt, to interrogate new evidence, to find yourself in completely new waters, and be comfortable in your ability to consume new facts and exist in a new way. That's intelligence for me, not
And you truly believe there are people better than you? Because I know normally people would measure someone's intelligence on their depth on one field
It can't be.
and not, to what you're saying, multiple fields and the ability to change frameworks.
That can't be. I mean, if that's our measure, that for me is your ability to be technically proficient at
Yes.
something is how deep you go.
Sure.
in a
Elon
single
Musk
field.
normally says, I'm not smart. I just do engineering every day. That's why you'll think I'm clever. But
That's right.
maybe if you ask him about football or comedy, he'd be like, the way he dances on stage is embarrassing. So,
So yeah, I mean, I think, no, for me, that's how I frame intelligence. I think intelligence is it's an elasticity of mind thing. You know this, like, you remember when you're like, I'm busy studying now, right? But if you think about when you're busy studying,
yeah.
one of the things your brain starts to do, you can't feel it, but you can almost feel it. Your brain becomes more elastic. It's almost as if you retain information quicker, you read faster, or you're more curious, you look for new data more quickly. That elasticity is a measure of intelligence, for me anyway.
Sure.
So when I look at an intelligent human being, in my world that's ever changing, fast adapting, I'm looking at your ability to come into a space where you'd be completely unfamiliar
Sure.
and within a short space of time create a familiarity for yourself.
Do you believe those people should be running the country, the continent?
It's a tough question because to run a system, you typically need structures and measures.
Okay.
And those people are great at designing, they're not great at running.
Okay.
They don't want to be managing things. Aksabo timekeeper, figure Mobanskite on a Wednesday. That's not what those people do. Those people ask the question, why must you arrive at 8 o'clock? Not did you arrive at 8 o'clock? So here's another way. I was explaining this to a client of mine who is having a challenge migrating their team into the remote workspace.
Sure.
They're like, it's this remote thing and 4-day work week, blah, blah, blah. So I said to him, where does the 8 to 5 workday come from? Do you know? He says, I don't know. I said, well, the first industrial revolution preemanates from the United Kingdom, London. In the winters, right, at the time, the sun would rise sometimes as late as 7 in the morning and set as early as 6 in the evening. Now, because there wasn't a proliferation of electricity at the time, the British decided that it wasn't safe for people to work at dark. So the British invented for us, they did, the work hour and work day, 8 to 5. So you're watching this, the company you're working for has got in your employment contract, employment hours designed at a time 200 years ago.
Sure.
And we're completely comfortable with that today. For me, that's what I mean by intelligence. It's not your ability to go be at work 8 to 5. It's your ability to go why 8?
Sure.
And why to 5? And to think about how do you create a framework and an environment where people can understand that.